Okay, so we've got our straight lines done, nice and neat. We've got our cube, sort of 60mm cube set there. Now if you look at the figure 03 on page 7, we have to draw a 40mm diameter cylinder that juts out of this by about 30mm from this side. So we're in the make sure you're in the right hand plane, because we're going to draw it on this face. And a few things to kind of note about this isometric drawing. Just a few words of warning before I kind of start into it. When you're drawing a circle, if you like, or a diameter on a plane, because it's an isometric drawing, you have to use the ellipse command. You never use the circle command. Another few you never use is the fillet command, or the radius command, or arc, sorry, command. Also a big no-no is the offset command, which doesn't work when you're in isometric drawing, so never ever use the offset command. I know some people try and use it, but it never kind of works out, so using the offset command is one of the biggest sort of downfalls in AutoCAD as well, so don't use the offset command. So a few little sort of words on before we start. So we said we use the ellipse command, so EL for ellipse, or you can pop it up there. It says specify axis endpoint, or we're actually doing an isometric circle. So you'll kind of notice this is kind of new to our ellipse, so this never appeared up. If you change it back to the rectangular snaps, you'll see that this isocircle doesn't appear. It's only when you set your setup for isometric drawing that isocircle appears in this selection of ellipse. So isocircle, specify the center of my isocircle. And because I got my O tracking set to midpoint and midpoint, I can acquire both those points, and there we go, that little X goes, that's where my isocircle goes, and you see it draws a nice little circle, looks like an isometric circle, alright, and it's a radius of 20, so type in 20, and that's my isocircle drawn. And I could draw, and again, they were kind of cute in that it works out that that's the center of my next circle, but I'll just kind of show you. You'll probably end up copying this from there, and I want to kind of push it in this kind of left hand plane direction, if you like. So toggle through till you get the left hand plane on, and you can drag it in that direction, kind of almost extruding it out, if you like, 30mm, and we get it, our second circle there. And now drawing my line, my next point is a line from quadrant to quadrant. It's never tangent. Well, I lie, sometimes it is. I'll kind of talk to you later on. Sometimes you have to cheat and use tangent, but tangent doesn't generally work. I'm just going to go back and show you what happens when you deliberately select tangent. So I select tangent, look, it's kind of only letting me select in both those places, and not a wonderful selection in that. There's kind of down there. This is really where I wanted to select, but you see it's kind of fixed. It's not floating around like a tangent symbol normally should. We will use it eventually, and kind of have to cheat it into it. It's a little fall down, a little bug in AutoCAD that you have to use, but for now, drawing a line from here, nice and handy, quadrant to quadrant. So it's nearly always quadrant to quadrant. I say nearly always because I'll show you later on where you use the tangent command. Not a wonderful way of doing it, but we'll see it. So I got my two lines drawn. Then all I got to do is trim off the excess. So TR, and there we go. And we've got our cylinder done. And you can do the same then for the next two. So that's the cylinder on. Okay.